Hey there, I'm Anthony from DESelect. In today's interview, I talk with Dror Meir, founder of Weku Solutions. He shares the kind of insights you get from working with Marketing Cloud for as long as 11 years and explains how both new SMC products as well as the app exchange play a role in Weku's strategy. Now, if you have any questions for Dror, like usual, just leave them in the comments. Meanwhile, relax, sit back, and enjoy. Hi, Dror. Welcome to this series.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. We've been talking a bit over the last few months, so I think it was well overdue that we'd have you. But I would like to jump straight into the topic of Salesforce Marketing Cloud. What was the most interesting project you delivered so far related to SFMC?
Well, we did many projects with many sectors, but I think that if I can think about one that we found very interesting is usually the one that challenging us the most. We had a project that combined many sources of data. Some of them were on-premise and some of them was completely offline, some such as POS or even real delivery mail. And this combination of data architecture that you have to think about, that was quite a nice challenge. The ability to understand when someone visits you in the shop and someone visited your website and he called the support and he saw you first time on YouTube or heard about you from some kind of a PR announcement. So the ability to understand that this is the same person that's seeing you and understanding his behavior, combining all these toolings and the source of the data, that was quite a nice challenge. And that's what makes everything much more interesting. The harder it gets, the more interesting it gets. That's my slogan.
I agree. And from that point of view, I can say it's been very interesting for me too. Yeah. But what industry was this about?
So this one was a very famous bank. And in the bank you have the ATMs that you've been using to withdraw some cash, or you're going face to face to the rep, or you're calling the support, or there is a ticket, a credit card on your way home. So there is entire communication until you get it. So if you take all of these touch points when the clients actually meet the bank, if it's offline or online, and to understand how to talk to that person, so to have the same conversation. So when he called the support, for example, the support knows that he actually went to the ATM yesterday and asked for a mortgage 2 months ago, and so on. The ability to give the representatives all the information, that's something that upscale first the way that the bank talking to their clients, and more than that, gives the person a sense of someone know him, and someone talk to him. And there is a lot of let's say psychological elements in it when you talk to something like a bank, which a lot of people can be very scary. A lot of it you have debts and so on, so it's not always that a positive conversation you expect to have. But the fact that it feels like you've talked to someone that knows you, understand your needs, understand your actions, understand the way that you behave, I think that that was quite a challenge, more for data architecture or technical perspectives, to bring this thing on the table for the bank representatives in all different departments, so cross departments, as we say.
Very interesting. Talking about these departments, of course, marketing is of our peculiar interest. So what do you think that marketers struggle the most with when it comes to the platform?
Well, I would say that there was a kind of a revolution started maybe 6-7 years ago. I've been doing it for the last 11 years, so I actually felt it in the change of the role of the marketer. So if in the past, let's say the average marketer needed to handle say, a more marketing aspect, so like really hardcore marketing aspects, such as creative content, how to bring ROI, how to bring a call to action, and this thing changed massively, because today we are all, in the end, all of us, available in different types of channels. digital channels, I mean, and that basically needed to create a new generation of marketeers when they can understand the data and how to analyze that data to understand the behavior of their clients or their leads, and understand what the technology can give them and what the technology, with the technology they have in-house, the lack of the features that they might have. So I will say in a much larger perspective that the marketeers should, until this day, we're still seeing it, should upgrade their game and to be more technical and more understand data processes and data architecture, so they can really, let's say, efficient their entire marketing activity. So, they can live up to the slogan that they want to do, to live in, which is the right message to the right person in the right channel in the right time. And that's not happening from just having a CSV with a list of emails and one big image that you want to send to everyone. And that's something that in general marketeers are challenging. I can say that from my experience also, CMOs or anyone that actually touching any type of communication between the company, their clients or their leads, have to go to that direction of understanding better data, technology, alongside with, of course, the marketing elements.
Very interesting. So embracing the data, not being scared to get a little bit more technical. If we would take that lesson to Marketing Cloud itself, do you think there's things that could be optimized in Marketing Cloud?
Well, I think it's going to that direction anyway. As Salesforce as a vendor, which is a vendor that I really believe that took the right direction, and that's why I chose to be focused on those toolings, is that in the end, Salesforce put in the middle the person itself that you want to communicate with. So the client or the lead itself in the middle, and they look at it and they're trying to make their systems around how that person looking at the company, and not other way around. So it's not how companies should manage their operations and so on, is how a person look at the company, and from that point they're starting. And I think that's a very good starting point, and that basically led to many features and more sources of data and channels that you can collect in one place to make your communication much better. So things that happening today, such as the last acquisition that Salesforce had with Evergage, that gives the ability to now communicate also in the web-based environment. And combining with other elements, which is where you have in your service and your sales and your all your media channels. So the combination of all of those, it's something that I think that's already happening. And now, of course, with WhatsApp that just joined as well to one of the channels that the Salesforce Marketing Cloud can work with. So I will say that it's already been taking that direction. And the more flexibility the Marketing Cloud will give to professional people that know the tools, the better, let's say in general, the tool will be optimized to the client's needs.
Indeed, I think it's very interesting points that you're touching upon. It's clear that Salesforce has a very good strategy here in taking a more central role when it comes to data and giving that central view of the customer, which is of course completely aligned with their DNA as a CRM provider. But I feel that with, for instance, the announcements of the Evergage acquisition, the C360 launch, it's all even speeding up a bit more. And it's very interesting times for, I think, people like you and me to live in.
Yeah, definitely. We really enjoy by this approach of Salesforce, and I think that there is a reason why they are taking the world with them with that philosophy, because first, it really works, and second, they have really good players. I will give ourselves a compliment, such as me and you, that want to take these technologies and really build things for the best of their clients. So the entire perspective of on one hand, taking care of everything in terms of technology and the toolings and data architecture and sources of data and channels, combining with how they're handling partners relationships, how they think about markets, the fact that they're giving the end toolings to people like me and you that we really can customize, and it's not just off the shelf. So which remind me, that if 6-7 years ago I did only Salesforce Marketing Cloud by itself, today with our company we are providing such a much larger set of tooling. So we are doing Datorama, which analyze all the marketing activities, and of course going with the Marketing Cloud as well. We have the Evergage, as we mentioned before, the Audience Builder, the 360, and of course the commerce. So everything relates to the communication between Salesforce and the end client. And the fact that you can customize it along with people like us. That's a really, I think, gives really amazing solutions to the clients, and especially the ones that really wants to have a very precise message for each person they talk to, and so on, like the bank example that I gave before. And I think this is the direction it's been taken. And we're definitely enjoying the fact that we are lucky enough to have toolings that we can actually build what we think will be the best for their clients, and that's quite an amazing times, I would say, for both of us in that respect.
I would agree. And as we've shifted gears to talking about Weku Solutions, your company has an impressive customer base in Israel, which I noted. How would you describe this region's usage of Salesforce? Are there any differences between other parts of the world?
That's a very good question, actually. I would say that Israel is in general, and I'm Israeli myself, even though I've been doing most of my work from Amsterdam. We recognize the opportunity in Israel to basically penetrate the market, and today we are serving most 80% of the clients that have been using Salesforce Marketing Cloud, all the toolings around it, and that basically gave us a kind of understanding how Israelis think, and everybody, Israel, we're familiar with the fact that they are the startup nation, and you can feel that also when we are talking to our clients and the way that we work with them. They tend to be more techy, I would say, than the average clients that we're familiar with. They want to learn more about the codes. They want to learn more about the data architecture. They understand better the advantages of those toolings today, because they also understand that you can customize it, as I mentioned before. And I think this is something that maybe is a bit different in the way that the Israelis approach this kind of solutions. It's true about cloud solution, but it's also true about any other solution that.
Right. If I might step in, it sounds like they set the bar high.
Yeah, definitely. But that's basically a very good thing, because in the end, when you sometimes when you talk to marketeers, they're not, or CMOs, or directors that want to take their companies to that direction. They can't always understand, all the way to what you can actually do for them, and they don't really understand always how the technology behind it should work. So they see something like a process someone did in Nike, for example, but they don't understand that there is an entire team that built an infrastructure around it and data architecture and so on. And when you approach the average Israeli company, they are there with you. They understand the effort that you put in. They appreciate how your the way that you want to basically help them to customize the solution that's good for them. And I would say this is the main difference. Let's say, in terms of this type of solutions.
All right, very insightful and good to know as well. So, your clients are not just in
Prepare
Israel, of course.
If you have, some Israelis, they will be more techy.
Exactly, it's good to be prepared, right? Well, and Now, of course, you have clients outside of Israel as well, across all of EMEA and beyond. Now, I was kind of curious, since most SIs have certain focuses or capabilities, are there types of clients that are really good matches for you? And are there some kind of clients that are probably not a good match for Weku?
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. First, we are not really, we are lucky enough to be, we have good references, a good reputation. So we actually never face the situation where I need to actually impress someone with my abilities. So that's always a good starting point. But in the end, I think that I will divide this one to two main, let's say, elements. If a company is first willing to invest, I will take it, I will be very transparent. You need to have the right budget to invest in such a toolings and in such a solution. You bring in everything to the cloud. Over there, Salesforce solutions are extremely advanced, and you can build whatever you have in mind in 99% of the cases around it. But that comes with also the ability to put to have the right budget for it, and which my perspective is extremely important for every company, of course. And I would say something that it's even more important than that is the mindset and the vision. So when we are talking to some clients that show interest in this type of solutions, we learning, well, most of all, they need to come with some kind of understanding that they want to improve massively the entire communications with their clients or with their leads. So they need to understand, or let's say they need to have the will to basically have a much better email marketing and SMS, and that in Facebook people see the commercial, or in TikTok or in LinkedIn, the right commercial to the right person, the right time. And they need to have the will to upgrade their entire way that they look at and their way that they communicate with their clients. And not that all of them is going that direction.
A willingness to increase their marketing maturity, as some would call it.
Sorry?
A willingness to increase their marketing maturity, as some would call it.
Exactly. Well said. Yes, definitely.
Well, it definitely helps working with clients that want to get ahead, of course.
Yes, now, you want your client in the end to challenge you. You want them to come with first I would say even for your own personal challenge. It's nice to have something that you haven't faced before, or that you really increase the level of your technical knowledge. So you want the client to have a very strong vision, and you want them to have a much better communication, and that they will know how they want to present themselves for the outside. And those are the type of clients that we really like to work with. And yeah, the more the merrier, as we say.
The more the merrier. Now, something that might be of interest to potential clients who are marketers and are listening to this show. You recently went through a rebranding process at Weku. So what triggered the change? What considerations did you have to make there?
Well, I have to be very honest about this one. It wasn't planned properly. Sometimes as an agency, you're focused so much on your work and your clients that when I started when I established the company, and I had already so many clients or potential clients and leads and so on that wanted to use my knowledge and my help. So I didn't dive into any of that in the beginning. I built a website by myself from scratch, just very quickly. I just put some kind of a logo, and I chose a name just on my way to registration of the company. So I can't say it was really planned. But with time, we learned that no, we can have a much better, of course, a way to present ourselves and to brand ourselves, and to differentiate ourselves from other, let's say, agencies, competitors, but also to actually really bring ourselves to the front of the things that we're really good at, and not to put masks on things that we are less good at. And so we chose to have this kind of rebranding that basically it's rebranding about everything that we are presenting and everything that we are doing. It started from the logo and the name, but it continues also with how we are different. So the fact, for example, that sometimes our competitors on the tables are huge corporates, 200,000 employees worldwide, and we are mostly winning against them, and that's because we are taking more the commander approach, very professionalized and well experienced, more than others. Usually, 11 years experience in this market is a lot, and so we come with that knowledge, we come with that approach, and a dedicated team. And of course with more flexibility around the pricing and administrative things. So you can just call straight away the developer on WhatsApp, for example. You don't have to schedule a meeting with the project manager that will organize an internal resources, so everything related to the agency of being, let's say, more like boutique in that respect. That's something that we wanted to present. So we chose to change everything around how we wrap ourselves as an agency.
Just this little idea of having WhatsApp groups to communicate directly with devs, I think, is very interesting because it takes away so much friction.
Yes, definitely. No, we all many years in, or the ones that many years in this market know that when you talk to an elephant, as we say, that elephant has many things that they have to deal with, like very high budgets and high demands for the managers or the managers of the managers and so on. And they have targets that they have to face. And here we are coming from a different perspective, saying, well, first we put service is the most important. So the minute that we have a client, that client and everyone that all the people that work with us from the client's end has direct communications to myself, the solution architect, technical architect. So any one of the people that involved in their projects, and everything can be much quicker. And if in the past, let's say 5 years ago, it would be very hard for us to find enterprise organizations to work with us. Today, it becoming more legit because they're saying, okay, we have this very small group of people we can work with. They are more dedicated, usually because they're a small company. They really want to prove themselves, and they have more to let's say, more enthusiastic spirit to bring their service much better. So yeah. In general, you're absolutely right. It become more focused about, again, the client and not about how I run my processes in-house and so on. So that's
right.
Yeah.
One more thing about the branding. I saw that your logo now features a certain face. What's the story behind that?
So it's actually come from an old hobby of mine. I'm reading a lot of philosophy and mathematics, and I'm an accountant in my dark days, In
the dark days.
So one of the things that I started to read about when I established the company is what I'm actually doing. I start asking myself very philosophical questions about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And during that process, I came across a person called Heron of Alexandria, which was a very, for the people that are familiar with that, with that history, very interesting investor. And what he created is basically kind of the first automatic machine. So the first machine that continue working after initial start and initial trigger, sorry. So he basically created kind of an iron ball and close. And from that iron balls, you have two pipes going to opposite directions. And he put some wood inside and he boiled it. And what happened is that the smoke inside put a lot of air pressure, and that's basically create this ball from start going round and round and continue as long as the burn is working. That's, by the way, is how a steam engine is working until today, when it burns something and the pressure of the smoke that's coming out of it. So I found it very nice story, and something that I want to bring to our company. First is to understand that in the end, that person thought outside the box, and that's what really wants to everyone in our company to think, not to be as everyone else, but to actually find to think beyond and to understand beyond what you're doing and not just doing it because you need to. And I found this kind of approach to life in general much more interesting, and that's the type of let's say vibe I want to bring to my company, and that's why we chose that character.
Very inspiring. So it's to let you let your employees essentially think outside of the box. Let them find new, interesting ways to do things, and it's not just to draw within the lines, but or do things as they're supposed to do, but really like look for the best new solutions, right?
Exactly. Well said. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe one last thing about how you run your practice. Of course, topic close to my heart. To what extent is App Exchange a part of Weku's strategy?
Well, I think it's something that in Salesforce Marketing Cloud is getting better. I must say, regardless to this conversation, thanks to you guys, I think we haven't faced enough good apps that built by third-side companies as yours. And when first time we came across your product, it was very refreshing because it was for us the first time that a company actually took something that was really a pain points for marketeers or for users in the system, and to make it more approachable, easy to use, and in the end, when I come with such a project with such a product to our clients, they can basically run things much faster. And today, when you are talking about how efficient you can be as a marketeer in terms of the communication and the speed of communication, so you don't have to wait to now your IT department to start building some scripts or SQLs or JavaScript around creating some kind of content segmentation. This thing should be much more approachable. And I must say, and it's not because we are talking now, you know what I think about the product, that in the end, the product of DESelect is something that we are really missing. And I hope in general that more and more tooling is like that improving the experience of a day-to-day usage and make it more efficient. That's something that we would like to use more and more as a service provider as well.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that, because I can already tell you we will not stop at the current DESelect segmentation offering. We were also looking further. I think there's many opportunities to do more marketing enablement in general, to give them tools where
Definitely.
On the one hand, you have to train marketers and make them understand they have to embrace the data, as we already established. On the other hand, you also want to give them better tools, easier tools. And I think when those two can meet halfway, one is basically the SI's job, right? And the other one is an ISV's job. And then you can have really powerful things in Marketing Cloud and for marketing teams in general.
Definitely. As we said before, the more the merrier. The more options we have, but the quality is something that I think was improving recently, because I think that 6-7 years ago you couldn't find really good toolings in the App Exchange, and it's getting better. And as I mentioned, the more the merrier, because it will give more options to the end clients in the end to use it in a much efficient way.
Super. Now, as we're about to slowly wrap up, I'd like to touch base with giving some advice to some of our listeners. So, for instance, many of our listeners are early Marketing Cloud practitioners. And is there some kind of advice that you, who has 11 years of experience in this industry, could share with them?
Sure. Well, good question, because I've been hearing that a lot from also other beginners that just jumping into this world, or people that actually been even doing it for the last 3-4 years, and they asking me, okay, today that you're 11 years been doing that, what can you share?
Right.
So I can definitely say that you need to treat this type of tooling as, I can talk especially, of course, about the Salesforce Marketing Cloud, is that you have to take the time and the understanding that is a real profession by itself. It's for some it might seem as a niche, which is okay, depends on what the agency has been doing or you as a marketer has been doing. But if you want to be really professional in it, there is nothing like, like we said, make your hands dirty. Try things. When I started, you can imagine that 11 years ago, there was no real documentation. It was called an exact target. I learned everything by myself, and it's not that I'm kind of a genius or anything like that. I think it's just when I started to find this thing very exciting to learn something new and to face a new challenge. So I just started to send myself emails and send myself SMS and see what happening with the data and changing the data. I always try to do things alongside with the fact that then clients started to come and to challenge me with their custom solutions. So that require me to actually, again, upgrade my understanding and to really dive into the codes and the commentations and features and combining with other features and other third sides toolings and so on. I would say for those of you that listen to this and understand where I'm going with it, is that in the end, you can learn now 2 years on the Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and it will not be enough, because in the end, what you mostly need is two things. One, the excitement to learn something new, and second, to deal with things by yourself and facing the hard challenges. And that comes with experience. And I would say, in a much philosophical, educational perspective, in the end, I believe that you learn the best by doing. And you need, I believe, 3-4 years to be a really good senior solution architect that can actually provide a much deeper understanding, because your role is more than just creating now an email or making an unsubscribe process. Is to understand the client in front of you and how he manages his operation and the level of their knowledge they have, continued with what they want to achieve and what's their targets, understanding their data needs and combining with the data architecture that you can build within the Marketing Cloud or the toolings around it. And also, in the end, to make everything more efficient in the way that the client is going to use it. So there are so many aspects here that there is no magic here. It's all based on experience and make your hands dirty. And so if you go in that direction, you're choosing the right career for yourself. But be aware that in as many other things, you have to be patient and you have to face the challenges. Don't be afraid of them.
All right. Well, I think there's actually some excellent advice to completely wrap up with. So, Dror, I want to thank you for today. It was really a pleasure. It was really a pleasure having you on the interview. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate that.